Hi there, everybody. We're going to make exercise 20, and I want to take a look at this before I get started because it's good to have a plan before you just start randomly doing things. This is another one of those ones that looks like it could make real good use of symmetry. If you were to divide this into quarters, right, along maybe put it like an origin here and have the X and Y axis, each one of the quarters looks exactly the same. Um, and so that to me means that I want to try to make a quarter of this thing and then use the mirror function to make the rest. Okay, now the challenge here is you've got some kind of complex shapes. If you look at this outside perimeter, the inside's pretty straightforward. It's a quarter of a circle, but here you've got a straight line, then an arc, and a straight line, and a straight line, and an arc. Now here is where it gets weird. So you're transitioning from this what clearly is a circle centered on this point right here into an arc. And at this point right here, this is a part that shows you that sometimes the hardest part about this stuff is figuring out how to read the drawings. It looks like a straight line, but you can't find any dimensions that tell you how far away this line is from the center. But that's because if you look here, it says R41. So even though it doesn't look much like it, this is actually a very short portion of an arc that's centered on the origin. Okay, so that really tripped me up when I first tried to do this, and maybe it wouldn't have tripped you up, but maybe if you're watching this video, it's because it did trip you up, and that's why you're here. Okay, so what I think we're going to do is we're going to we'll make this arc here first, and then make this shape, and then build up the rest around it. You know, we'll make this shape and dimension it to give us like something to kind of move around as we make this outside portion, and kind of roll from there. So that's the plan. Let's execute the plan. All right, so I'm going to move this up and out of the way. And according to the drawing, we're going to make this thing on the top plane. So I'm going to right click on the top plane, select new sketch. I'm going to right click on one of the planes, select hide all planes, hit N to get a normal view of my my sketch plane. And I'm going to start off by putting some construction lines in to kind of help me keep track of where I'm at, and also give me something to dimension to for now, and then later it will also allow me to do my mirrors. Okay, and remember, a quick way to get the line and the construction line is to type an L for line and then a Q for construction, and then you can make a construction line. And I've really gotten used to using shortcut keys because they are really, really helpful. Okay, so let's look back at here. We've got a quarter circle here. If you look at this dimension right here, it says it's a diameter of 60. So that would make it a radius of 30 going across here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the center point arc tool. Okay, so if you're starting off, it's going to look like this. You have to select the drop down to get to that. But that center point arc is really useful if you know where the center of your curve is going to be. In this case, it's going to be on the origin. So I click there, and then the next place you click is where you're going to start. So you can't just come out anywhere, because if you do, that's where it's going to, see, if I do this, it's going to start my arc way out there, and that's not helpful. So what I really wanted to do was click on the center point, which is the origin, and make sure I'm along one of the lines. It doesn't matter which line, but one of those lines. Then I can arc over to the other line, and then I can type in the dimension, and I said that was going to be 30, and there it is. Okay, so there's my first dimension line. Okay, now the other thing I said I was going to do was I was going to make this kind of petal shape out here first. Okay, and it looks like a circle with a couple of tangent lines coming off it to make kind of a square. So I'm going to do that and then dimension the center, because that's going to help us, I believe. So I'm actually going to start with a full circle, and the radius that was given for that is 32, which would mean this would have a diameter of 64, double that. So I'm going to click, type 64, and then I think I'm going to locate that before I start putting the other lines. So again, looking at the drawing, you see this dimension here, 63 for this line, and also 63 for this line. So this point is located 63 millimeters away from each axis. So I'm going to hit D for the dimension key, click the center of this. Oops, I thought I clicked D for the dimension key. I'll try that again. Click on the center of the circle, click on the line over here, type in 63, and I'm going to do it again for this line here, and also type 63, and it'll locate that for me. Now, the other two lines that I need to make are to make this square are going to be tangent to the circle, and they're also horizontal and vertical. And it turns out if you do that, you don't actually have to put any dimensions on them. So I'm going to click the line. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go straight up. Now, it wants to put a tangent on there so bad that it won't let me put the vertical on there. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to go there, and I'm just come back to the circle and click again. And it really doesn't matter because now I can use constraints. I'm going to use the vertical constraint by typing a V on this line. And I'm going to use the horizontal constraint by typing H on this line. Okay, and if you notice, they both went black. Why did they go black? Well, because I set them up so they were already tangent, just to show you. See how the circle in that line are tangent and the circle in that line are tangent. And by making them both tangent and horizontal and vertical, there's only one place they could possibly be. Then I'm going to take the trim tool and get rid of this little portion of the arc, and I've got that. Okay. Now the reason I did that is it's going to, when I go and sketch around, it's going to make it a little easier. So I'm going to start off with the, let's bring the drawing back and look. So I'm going to take a line, go up, make an arc up to here, and then make a line up, a line over. Actually, man, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, man, we could totally use the offset tool, couldn't we? Because look at that. They're telling you that the width of this is 13, and it looks like it's 13 all the way around. As a matter of fact, if you look, the difference in the two radiuses is 13. So let's try that. I didn't do that during my practice run, but I'm going to try that because why not? Let's use the tools we have. So I'm going to click the offset tool. Click all the lines I want to offset, and if you notice it's offsetting in the wrong direction, that's not a big deal. You just grab this and make it go in the other direction. And then I'm going to click and then enter 13. Okay, see, that was pretty easy actually. And so now I'm going to take the line tool, make a line going straight down to here. We'll dimension that in a second. Actually, let's just dimension it now. Looking at the drawing, that line is 73 away from that vertical axis that I have. What in the heck is going on? Oh, I keep doing this. Accidentally, dual monitors. It's awesome and terrible simultaneously. Okay, so I'm going to click D for the dimension tool. And I'm going to click here and here. And I'm going to make that 73. Okay, and it locates that where I want it. And then again, this is the tricky part because we're supposed to do an arc of 41 that comes off here for a little bit, and then another arc that comes to this portion, and then it's tangent to. So I'm going to start off with that center point arc. I'm going to click here, come up here, and then just go over a little bit. Okay, because remember, it's not a very long portion. So I'm going to then type in 41 to dimension that. And you notice the other end is left blue because we're not really sure how far that needs to be. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch back over to the 3-point arc tool, and I'm going to connect this line and this portion of that arc or whatever the heck it is, and then I'm just going to accept it. And now I'm going to put tangent constraints on it, which should clear everything up. So between here and here is tangent, and then between here and here is tangent. Okay, now it didn't clear everything up, so oh my god, what the heck happened? Well, there is a dimension for that little guy, and it's over here. Sometimes this and this are the same thing, so we got to make that a radius of 12. If we do that, that ought to fix it. So let's hit D for dimension. I'm going to make this a 12. Let's see if it just, yep, makes everything beautiful again. Okay, I'm gonna move this over somewhere where we can see it, but it's not totally in the way. Okay, now all we really need to do is trim away that bit of our petal. I guess I want to call it a petal because it kind of looks like a flower petal. And that should be it. Okay, so there it is, and it's all black, which means it's all fully dimensioned. And now we can use our mirror function. So I'm going to click on the mirror function. It says select a mirror line. I'll click that, and then I'm going to start out here, click and drag, select all the things I made, and bingo. Now it looks like bunny ears. Okay, cool. Now I want to do the mirror again, but I have to hit escape first, right? Because we don't want to dimension anything else along that axis. So we have to start over. We'll click the mirror line and select this one this time, and then I'm going to select everything on top, and now I've got everything on bottom, and that thing is done. So I'm going to accept the sketch, go to my isometric view, and according to the drawing, it looks like it's a 25 millimeter extrude that we're going to do here. So let's do a 25 millimeter extrude, and there's extrude. Click here. It's already defaulted to 25, so we're essentially done. And look at that. Okay, so that one, it had its tricks to it. That's why I assigned it to you. And good luck with that.